In the headlines, government to engage in talks with international airlines in a bid to improve air access into the country. Farmers called upon to adhere to their contractual agreement with the country's leading agricultural marketing agency, and 3 men charged in a major drug bust over the weekend. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details right after this.
Attention all customers. Mapping will continue to operate through any storm until our transmission is involuntarily terminated. Mapping will do everything within its power to restore service in the shortest possible time after the storm. Remember, it's the hurricane season. Be safe, be smart.
Watch out, summer. Mapping is doing it big from 17th July to 31st August with free installation and cash prizes. Here's the drill. New customers sign up for any of our services and pay no installation, plus a chance to win cash prizes every week. Existing subscribers pay off your outstanding balance and you too will qualify to win. Sign up, pay up, and win, 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 because life is better with Mapping.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, the government of Dominica has reaffirmed its commitment to improving air access into the country through engaging in talks with an international airline. This as discussions are set to get underway with Norwegian Airlines in order to improve the number of visitors to the country. Speaking at a town hall meeting in Mero on Monday, Minister for Tourism Senator Robert Tung says while the international airport is still in the works, the government has been proactive on working to get more flights into Dominica.
The international airport is going to take time to build. It's not going to be built in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. But guess what? In the meantime, we still have to improve access. And the Prime Minister has given us the mandate to make sure in the meantime we can improve access. So Norwegian Airlines provides amazing rates to travel to Guadeloupe and Martinique. A friend of mine just sent his 3 kids to the States. He paid $79 US per ticket from Martinique to America. So what we've realized is that they have fantastic rates. Obviously, somebody is subsidizing those flights. So what we're going to do is to capitalize on that connection. So we are going to be working, we actually begin the discussions with Air Antilles so that when that flight comes to Guadeloupe and Martinique, as opposed to having to overnight and still take the ferry, you have the option of taking a flight and coming in the same day.
The Ministry of Tourism is also working with TIA2000, an airline which services St. Lucia and Barbados, on servicing Dominica as well. There are also works in progress on securing a weekly flight from the United States into Dominica. Minister Tung pointed out that flights such as these can also benefit Dominica's agriculture industry.
But this doesn't only have implications just for tourism. Imagine when the flight is going back. Imagine how many different agricultural products we can put on that international flight and send back to the USA. You always see the videos of persons showing the price of, what's the price of tuna in Dominica? $9. I think I saw some persons with the price of tuna almost about 20 US a pound in the USA. So it means that if we have those type of flights, we can now begin to capitalize not just for tourism, but even for agriculture.
The tourism minister also reported that the changing of the country's marketing representatives last year seemed to be reaping benefits for the tourism sector.
I was not happy with those market reps because they were there for 2 years and the numbers we were getting were not sufficient. And I said, you know something, we have to change them. We changed all of them except the market rep in London because they were doing a pretty decent job. What I can say to you is that tourism is moving in the right direction. In terms of stayover visitors, our stayover visitors for January to May this year is the highest it has ever been. For the first 5 months, is the highest it has ever been since 2007.
Still in tourism, a major project is set to get underway in the West Coast community of Mero to add more value to its tourism product. Parliamentary representative for the St. Joseph constituency, Kelva Daru, announced that $500,000 will be invested into developing the yachting sector in that community.
One of the projects that we are going to undertake in the upcoming financial year in Mero, we are going to undertake seriously yachting development in this community. Because we believe Mero is well positioned to receive yachts. It used to happen in the past when we had Castaways Hotel blooming. And I believe the Ministry of Tourism has put in the budget an amount of $500,000 where we'll develop a jetty in Mero and all of the other infrastructure to ensure that we can bring the yachting industry here in this community, and we can even be on par with what is taking place in Portsmouth.
Daru urged the Mero residents to get on board with the project as the spillover effects will benefit a wide cross-section of the community.
There are several other services that will be associated with the yachting sector that each and every one of us here in this community who is serious about the sector, we can make $1. Because there will be opportunities for security services. There will be opportunities to provide laundry services, the cleaning of the yachts, all of these. Your restaurants and your small shops, you'll be able to make more dollars from it once we have the yachting sector developed in this community. And I am fully on board with this project, but I want you to be on board with us here too.
Moving to the agriculture scene, Dominican farmers are being urged to maintain their contractual commitments with the country's leading agricultural marketing agency. General Manager of Dexia, Gregor Thomas, spoke at a workshop for the enhancement of wet season cultivation on Tuesday. The workshop was geared at developing the capacity of farmers to produce larger volumes and improved quality of the targeted crops, including hot pepper, yam, sweet potato, and cucumber. It was organized by Dexia in collaboration with agriculture inputs manufacturer Caribbean Chemicals. Dexia has been entering into contracts with farmers for the production of various crops for more than 10 years. Thomas says the issue of farmers not honoring their contracts with his organization is a serious challenge.
The commitment that you give to plant at planting, because we sign the contracts with you, sometimes you use the contract to go to the financial institutions to seek resources. That commitment must be maintained. And one of the challenges that we have as we move ahead with contractual production is that farmers give commitments that they will plant, but when we do the actual monitoring, what the farmer said that he would do, he has not done it. And that is creating a problem for us in marketing. It's creating a problem for us because in any crop, if you look at the crop cycle, and based on the contractual production arrangements, you would have said over 8 months or 9 months you're going to produce a particular crop. And we base our projections on the production contract. And when we believe ourselves that the crops are ready for harvest, when we do an assessment, we find that the crops are not there. They're not in the ground. This is a serious challenge.
According to Thomas, another challenge involves the lack of timely application of agricultural inputs in order to increase yield. Operations Manager of Dexia's Roseau Multipurpose Packhouse, Bristol Lawrence, told farmers many opportunities lie ahead.
I must say there are new opportunities opening up right now for yams on the U.S. market. We have some interest and we're hoping that we can make maybe a first shipment, if not this month, but early next month to the U.S. market. So there are opportunities for the crops. So we're urging farmers to get on board. And not only the farmers here today, but we're looking to contract about 100 acres of yams for this financial year. 24 acres of cucumbers and 24 acres of sweet potatoes. Okay, we are doing this because we want to close the gap. What we find is that there is always a period of scarcity and a period of glut on the market. So if we can schedule the production a little better, we can facilitate the exporters and the hucksters to ensure that they always have the supplies to meet the markets.
In police news, 3 men have been charged with possession of cannabis weed and possession of cannabis weed with intent to supply. This after a vessel was intercepted off the coast of Portsmouth during a police operation over the weekend. Here is Inspector Pelhamjan Baptist with more.
One fishing vessel and 2 40-horsepower outboard motors were seized, and 3 men have been charged for possession of cannabis weed and possession of cannabis weed with intent to supply after their vessel was intercepted off the coast of Portsmouth about 12 a.m. on Saturday, the 22nd of July, 2017. The police intercepted the vessel and discovered 5 bags containing 157 kilograms of cannabis weed. As a result, Lennox Bickett, male adult of Benz, Desmond Abraham, male adult of Woodford Hill, and Lindell Dowie, male adult of Vilcars, were charged for possession of cannabis weed and possession of cannabis weed with intent to supply.
The men were scheduled to appear before the Portsmouth Magistrates Court on Tuesday, 25th July. You are watching Channel 5 News. When we come back, Dominica is being challenged to adhere to international regulations in the phase-out of ozone-depleting substances. Stay tuned.
Watch out, summer. Mapping is doing it big from 17th July to 31st August with free installation and cash prizes. Here's the drill. New customers sign up for any of our services and pay no installation, plus a chance to win cash prizes every week. Existing subscribers pay off your outstanding balance and you too will qualify to win. Sign up, pay up, and win, 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 because life is better with Mapping.
Welcome back. Kalinago Chief Charles Williams has called on government to ratify the 10-year-old United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. He spoke at the media launch of the UWI Country Conference on the Kalinago people and their culture. The event, set to feature local and international researchers, takes place on August 9th and 10th at the Barana Ote in Salibier. It begins on the same day as the United Nations International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples. Williams also calls for the International Labour Organization Convention 169 to be incorporated into Dominica's laws. The convention clearly recognizes the rights of Indigenous people.
This year, 2017, we are again observing a milestone as Indigenous people. Since in September of this year, we will observe the first decade of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. I have asked all 3 parliamentary representatives who have served the Kalinago territory within that period of time to ratify this declaration in the Dominican Parliament and incorporate it into the Dominica's law so that we, the Indigenous people, could benefit from it. And to date, my call has fallen on deaf ears. The ILO Convention 169 was passed in the Dominican Parliament, but it is yet to be incorporated into the Dominican law. And we continue to hear at every opportunity how much they love Kalinago people.
He noted the number of university graduates of the Kalinago territory is steadily increasing, including more than 70 people. The chief pointed out that over the years, scholarships have been awarded to the Kalinago people and appealed to qualified Kalinagos to work together.
With that capacity, I want to call on my graduates to think a little less of self and a little more of Kalinago, ask what it is that I can do for my people rather than what my people can do for me. Think of the struggles that we have gone through over the last 524 years. Think of the blood of our ancestors that have flowed all over the Eastern Caribbean chain so that we are here today. Ask yourself, why was I born in the Kalinago bloodline? For too often I have heard, if I was there then, what would I do? We are here now reclaiming our indigenous heritage. Let's see how together we can define the Kalinago destiny.
On to environmental matters, Dominica is being challenged to lead the way in the successful phase-out of hydrochlorofluorocarbons in the region.
The challenge came from liaison officer for the Princess Margaret Hospital, Dr. Martin Christmas, who was speaking at a recent workshop on the phase-out management plan for ozone-depleting substances. Dominica is part of the Montreal Protocol, which seeks to protect the ozone layer by gradually eliminating the number of substances which contribute to ozone depletion. The country has until the end of 2030 to phase out the use of ozone-depleting substances in order to comply with international regulations.
We must phase out the harmful hydrochlorofluorocarbons and begin to use more of the environmentally friendly refrigerants now available on the market. We call ourselves the nature island of the Caribbean, so we need to be leaders, pioneers in this, so we need the support of everyone. It is important to act before we have a new ozone hole scenario as we did in the mid-1980s. For Dominica, the phase-out management plan has a deadline date, which is December 2030. Seems to be a way off, but it's not that much time if we have to actually phase it out, considering the number of refrigerators, freezers, AC units, and so forth in the country, and the growing number.
Dominica had already successfully phased out the use of chlorofluorocarbons. However, the impact caused by the increased exposure to UV rays as a result of the hole in the ozone layer has already had its adverse effects.
These rays are harmful, very harmful to human health, animal health, and plant health. Not only does the overexposure to UV radiation have harmful suppressing effects on the immune system and cause things like cataracts in the eye, but the research has also shown that each of the three main types of skin cancers, that would be the basal cell carcinomas, squamous cell carcinomas, and the melanomas, can be caused by exposure to the harmful UV rays, which of course we get a lot more of that with the hole in the ozone layer. Dominica itself has successfully phased out chlorofluorocarbons, those are the CFCs, and is currently implementing the hydrochlorofluorocarbon phase-out management plan as stipulated within the Montreal Protocol.
Initially, 46 countries had signed on to the Montreal Protocol in 1987. To date, 197 countries have ratified the treaty. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
And the late Bernard Agar Carbon of Woodfordale has been described as a noble citizen who served his community, district, and country well. The words from the Dominica Freedom Party, under which Carbon served in Parliament as a senator and parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Tourism from 1985 to 1990. According to a press release from the DFP, Carbon was an educator, agriculturist, and a community-oriented individual who will be remembered for a long time for his contribution to nation building. Bernard Agar Carbon had contested the Wesley constituency on a DFP ticket in 1985 and 1990, but was unsuccessful both times. However, he remained committed to the people of his community. Carbon was afforded an official funeral by the Labour Party-led administration, which took place on Tuesday, 25th July at the Wesley Catholic Church. That's news. Stay tuned for your sports highlights. In track and field, Dominica did not have the best day in sports, finishing in the cellar position at the 2017 Inter-School Games on Monday. Following a poor start over the weekend, the national track team finished the first day of track with 2 silver and 5 bronze medals. Track coach at the Games, Godwin Dorset, says he's hoping for better performances on the second day.
Track and field had some rough time yesterday. We, at the end of the play, we were in the cellar position with 5 more events to go. We had the throws and shot put and discuss, both male and female, and the triple jump in the male category. We had some exciting performances, nevertheless. Jonathan Mills jumped over 2 meters for silver medal. Very exciting high jump, first time jumping, and it was very good. The female relay team, 4x4 team, placed second, It's an exciting run, tough competition, and Miss Chanel Nichols jumped in her way into silver medal position in the female high jump. We had 5 bronze medals, 4 of which came from the middle distance area, male and female, and the javelin of the male.
This year, the track and field team averaged 4th and 5th positions. Dorset said he hopes to move into 4th or 3rd position by Wednesday with the throws, which is an area of strength for Dominica. Moving on to football, coaches here recently went through the first phase of the inaugural D-license program initiated by the DFA, tailored to bolster the standard of coaching. The program targets coaches at the novice level and forms part of the DFA's 4-year strategic development plan, which makes provision for coaching education. President of Dominica Football Association says the program should help bring a level of continuity to football education here.
We not just about playing the ball itself, like kicking the ball, but we want to educate persons that they can have the knowledge to pass on the knowledge to other persons. Because if we understand the knowledge of football in this coach education aspect, I think it will be better for all of us. So when we go out there, whether you're a player, but it will assist you and you can pass that on to other players. You know, it's not, sometimes we play football, but a lot of things that we don't understand in the game. But if we understand it, it helps us better to help other persons. And if you help other persons in your community, in your team, I mean, what happens is the product comes to the DFA where we have a better product, you know, and would expect persons to go back to the various areas and whatever they've learned here to pass it on.
The president commended the course participants on their participation since the numbers were encouraging. The next phase of the course is expected to target sports teachers at the various schools here and academies. In basketball, a Division I and Premier League game are carded this Wednesday in the 2017 Flow DABA League, following multiple games being called off on the weekend. At 7, we will witness a Division I clash of 767 Sports Club and Massey United Insurance Sharks. At 9, Flow X-Men and E.H. Charles crossovers will take to the court in a Premier League style. Both games are carded for the Massac Hard Court. Meantime, in recent games, Intellico Security Service Raiders defeated Elijah Law Chambers Thunderers 72-34 in the Premier League, and Paybush Snipers escaped with a narrow victory to beat LA Knights 56-52. Back with more football, we can tell you there were wins for 767 Young Ballers, Aeropost Dutch United and Burt Motors Young Stars in action from the 2017 Fast Cash Harlem Football League on the weekend. Delbert Graham led the scoring for 767 Young Ballers with the first 5-goal tally for the season to help his team beat Club Lubier 8-4. Kimon Joseph added 2 and Kersley Kernizan 1 for Young Ballers. For Club Lubier, Osley Uwadon got a hat-trick and Kyle Delsol 1. In another match, Aeropost Dutch United kept their chances of qualifying to the second round alive when they defeated Quirkside 2-0 with goals from Kieran Luis and Christophe Gevrier. Defending champion Burt Motors Young Stars won by default over Rosalie Bay Charlotte Villas, who failed to make an appearance. On Sunday, 767 Young Ballers were at it again with another 8-goal demolition, this time against Daddy Chess Bath Road Ambassadors. Delbert Graham netted 5 with single goals from Kirsty Kernizan, Colonel Grant and Loftney Kernizan. Scoring for Bath Road were Sherwin Gregoire and Sean Sandy. Meantime, in the Veterans League, West Coast Veterans defeated Harlem Veterans 4-1. Shane Marshall netted a hat-trick for West Coast and David Isles 1. Kenrick Solka Emmanuel scored the lone goal for Harlem. That's all the sports for now. Join us next time. We now join our friends at the Met Office for the latest weather update.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'll be your presenter for this evening, Farah Rocker. Today, a tropical wave traversed across the Lesser Antilles, mainly affecting the southern portion of the Lesser Antilles. Let's move on now to earlier infrared satellite imagery. And what you can see is the convection associated with this tropical wave, as I said, affected mainly the southern portion of the Lesser Antilles. We move on now to some earlier visible satellite imagery, and what it showed is partly cloudy skies across Dominica and the rest of the island islands of the central portion of the Eastern Caribbean. We move on now to some earlier radar imagery taken approximately 3 p.m. local time, and what it indicates is no shower activity across Dominica, however some scattered shower activity across the islands of the Lesser Antilles. Well, what weather can we expect tonight? Partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers, and these conditions will persist into tomorrow with maximum temperatures expected to peak up to 32 degrees Celsius. Let's move on now to the marine forecast. Well, sea conditions tomorrow will be moderate, and waves are expected to peak up to 1.5 meters or up to 5 feet. Let's move on now to the 3-day forecast. Well, as I said, tomorrow, which is Wednesday, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers expected. And on Thursday, another tropical wave is expected to affect our region. Therefore, mostly cloudy skies with some scattered showers expected with a chance of isolated thunderstorms. And by Friday, the conditions expected will be partly cloudy to occasional cloudy skies with some scattered showers. Let's move on now to the Caribbean forecast for tomorrow. Well, across the islands, occasional cloudy skies with some scattered showers is expected for all the islands. On the international scene, well, while the city of New York will enjoy some beautiful sunny skies, thunderstorms expected for the cities of Miami and Caracas, and overcast skies with some rain for the cities of London and Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:46 a.m. and will set at 6:38 p.m. Please remember, we are in hurricane season. Keep abreast with your weather information. Visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call our weather hotline at 447-5555. Join us tomorrow evening for our next weather broadcast. Thank you for listening.
To end the news, the headlines again. Governments to engage in talks with international airlines in a bid to improve air access into the country. Farmers called upon to adhere to their contractual agreement with the country's leading agricultural marketing agency, and 3 men charged in a major drug bust over the weekend. Feel free to contact us at news@mapin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Kenny Williams. To all viewers around the world, we thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.